Have you ever wondered why isn't your English test result improved? Did you get lost for having no strategies for your reading test? I understand some of you may be terrifying before the test for these reasons. Therefore, in today's video on Universal English, I would like you to take a deep breath and let us walk you through a few top tips to master test-taking techniques for multiple choice questions in English reading test. Remember that treasuring the following tips may come in handy. Stay tuned! Multiple choice is one of the most familiar test formats that are used in English reading test, which makes them a vital skill to master. In theory, picking one of 4 or 5 options seems easy, but in practice, eliminating the wrong answers and picking the right one can be tough. They might not be questions at all. They could be statements, incomplete sentences, or problem to solve. Moreover, the more time pressure added into the mix, the harder does your task get. Therefore, to ace any multiple choice test, you need to have a good knowledge of the syllabus applied with an intelligent strategy and tactics. Learning from these tools and techniques will give you the confidence to face any multiple choice test.
Well, as you know, for all exams, preparation is important. Therefore, the first thing we want to remind you is to seek practice tests to budget your time, which means you need to calculate how long you need for a multiple choice exercise in the test and how long each question requires. For example, if the test is 1 hour long and has 30 questions, you know that you will need to have reached at least the question number 15 by the halfway mark to remain on track. Moreover, you need to make sure that you have allowed enough time at the end of the test to review your answers and ensure that you enter them correctly onto the answer sheet. Most importantly, when you seek your practice test, recreate the test conditions as closely as possible with closed books and no music or distraction. Secondly, you need to read the question carefully. Once the clock is ticking, students might be tempted to race to the answers. However, time spent correctly interpreting the questions is critical. This is what will truly save you time when it comes to picking the correct answers. Questions give away a lot of information, so you need to read them closely to think of the correct answer before you look at the multiple answers provided. In order to do this, remember to carve the answer so that you can think without being distracted. Not only this, you also need to pay attention to the number of answers required in order not to give your point away. So now, here are some steps to analyze the question that you need to keep in mind. The first one is to cover up the answers before you read the stem, which is the first part of the question. The second one is to read the stem carefully. The next one is to process the stem by underlining the keywords, translating the question into your own words, and watching for small but important words, such as not or always. And the last one is predicting the answer.
As mentioned above, underlining keywords and taking notes are advised. Don't choose an answer just because it is the only one with words you recognize. If you only recognize the words in one answer, make sure that it is correct and really answer the question before you choose it. If you can eliminate it, then you increase your chances of getting the right answer, even if you have to guess. In order to deal with this, you should try cutting up the difficult words by noticing prefixes and suffixes for clues. Moreover, the question and answer may contain destructive words like negatives, none, not, neither, superlative, most, best, qualifiers, usually, often, generally, may, and absolutes like always, never, or every. These words may trick you and lead you to the incorrect answer.
answer. Also, you need to be alert for sweet white words such as but, although, nevertheless, which indicate a shift in thought and alters the nature of the question. Furthermore, you watch out for none of the above and all of the above question. For instance, B may be true, but it might be in the list of answers in which all are true, so making D or the above the correct answer.
Well, the third tip as mentioned above is to apply the process of elimination. First thing to do is striking obviously false answers, which means using logic to rule out answers that don't make sense or don't fully answer the question. Working from 2 or even 3 options instead of 4 will seriously improve the chances. Then, you treat each answer as a true or false question and cross out any options that are false. For instance, even though it cannot be D, cross it out. It is also suggested to look for pairs which are either 2 answers that are opposites or 2 that are identical apart from 1 word. This is a common tactic of test setter to separate those who really know the topic from those with a surface understanding of it. In such pairs, one of these may be grab the correct answers and the other is wanted to distract you from it. Moreover, it is advised to look out for answers that don't match the grammar of the question. Then, you cross off any answers that does not match. Correct answers can sometimes be found by looking at the tense of the word and comparing it to the endings of the various possible answers. For example, if the question indicates that the answer should end in, but only one of the answer choices does, and the rest of the choices end in ed, this may be the correct answer.
Even if you are not entirely sure that your answer is correct or not, it's usually better to keep it than to switch to another answer at the last minute. Another tip to take into account is to skip difficult questions and return to them later. You shouldn't waste too much time on questions that appear too difficult because they are a breeding ground for doubt. These doubts can ruin your ability to answer the easier questions you run into later. If you cannot answer a question within the time limit which you calculated, move on and plan to return to it later. Mark any questions you didn't answer with a clear, bold mark such as a question mark to make sure you see them on your second pass through the test. Make sure you skip the questions spot on your answer sheet as well. You wouldn't want to end up with a bunch of answers wrong because you filled in the answer box incorrect. It is also common that many test takers try to change their answers when they do not assure about them. Therefore, when reviewing answers, you should only change an answer if you have a specific reason for doing so. For example, you remember the new piece of information.
So, we've deleted some few tips of test taking techniques for multiple choice question in English reading test. If you find that these tips are of some help for you, don't hesitate to click on the bell icon to get notification of your new English lessons when they are up on our channel. Subscribe to our channel and watch other lessons. Moreover, in association with us is testenglish.com, where you can find everything you need for your English exam. You can go on their website to practice not only multiple choice reading tests, but also other skills based on your language level. So, we've deleted some few tips of test taking techniques for multiple choice question in English reading test. If you find that these tips are of some help for you, don't hesitate to click on the bell icon to get notification of your new English lessons when they are up on our channel. Subscribe to our channel and watch other lessons. Moreover, in association with us is testenglish.com, where you can find everything you need for your English exam. You can go on their website to practice not only multiple choice reading tests, but also other skills based on your language level. Why not give it a try? So it's time for us to sign out. See you soon on other videos. Till then, you take care. Stay tuned.